following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Made it to Friday on Main Street Sports Today. Coming up on the program, talking a little women's college basketball. We got a big game coming up this weekend. Mechelle Voepel of ESPN.com will be joining us. Also, Teresa Walker, sports editor of the AP for the state of Tennessee. All kinds of topics. Doubling up with Teresa today, so stay tuned for that in the second half. Also, college football rematches. And our top story, college football variety as well. A little postseason action. A full slate on the rundown. Let's get right to it. To the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton. Here's a Sundrop kid from Alabama wearing orange, Chris Yao.
Got to wear the orange when you can, I guess.
Yeah, because after Sunday, I'm not sure you'll be able to.
Tennessee beats Arkansas tomorrow, and I'll be sporting it just fine. Especially on the road. I mean, if Vanderbilt can do it. JP's not over there to give me a wah-wah.
Or anything else. Yeah, you caught him away from the controls there. So that probably worked out pretty well.
You know, y'all just get ready. I've been on one today. I've already
no, not you.
I've already accosted an On3 sports reporter from Auburn today, because he said that Bruce Pearl should have won the 17-18 Coach of the Year award over Rick Barnes when, I mean, could have maybe. I don't know if should is the correct word. So, you know, got into a little
Twitter war, little Twitter beef.
You know,
kind of like the Alabama quarterback.
He said, you know, next time try to be respectful. And I was like, why? It's Twitter. This is way more fun.
Respectful of him?
Of his wrong opinion.
Who is he?
Apparently he covers Auburn for On3 Sports.
Oh, well, there you go.
But,
yeah, you should be more respectful.
I mean, yeah, I'm a fraud, so it's all good. He called me a fraud because I said that, why would I be respectful? This is Twitter. One, this is going to get way more engagement.
Two,
so, it doesn't matter. Your opinion's wrong. That's not my problem.
That's not a lack of respect. It's a statement of fact.
It's a statement of fact.
Yeah.
I said, you know, you might have the opinion that he should have been, but my opinion and clearly
the voters'
opinion disagree with you.
Yeah.
So,
it's 2-1. Me and the voters versus you.
Oh man. Anyway, it's been a fun day. So anyway,
Captain Chaos strikes again.
Dude, I what fun is Twitter if you're not, you know, beefing with somebody? Nobody remembered who David Cornwell was until he got into a Twitter beef with Blake Barnett.
I still don't remember who David Cornwell was, but the third guy was identified, right?
Yeah, what was his name?
And I still can't remember. Yeah,
it wasn't Spencer. It was.
I think it was Spencer.
It might have been Cooper Bateman.
Cooper.
I remember both of those guys' names, but
yeah,
they never became anything.
Not for anything they did on the field. No. Yeah, not a thing.
Oh man. So you know, again, do what you got to do. Recognizable. Anyway,
I saw a tweet a couple of days ago. Every day someone is going to be the main character on Twitter. Your goal should be to not be that person. And yesterday it was Mechelle Tafoya.
Don't be that.
Yeah. So
let's get into some schedule. A lot of changes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hope everybody survived yesterday's weather scare, or weather, as the case may be.
Called my dad. He was like, they want me to go to your brother's, but by the time I get out of this chair and into the car and over there and then out of the car and into his house, the weather's going to be long gone. So I don't know why we're moving. Just stay here. Hope it goes over us. And he's not wrong. I mean, it takes him a minute.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Chuck keeping it real. Huh?
I mean, we're going to be halfway there when it gets here. We're going to turn around. We're going to do this all over again. I don't know why we're trying this. Oh, yeah. But yeah, glad everyone is okay out there. And let's get into yesterday's results. Today's schedule and the rest of the weekends on the rundown.
This is the Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in southern Middle Tennessee.
In high school basketball action on Thursday night, the 12-4A boys play-in game. Summit defeated Nolensville 58-49. In girls action, it was Independence defeating Nolensville 41-36. NCAA men's basketball action on Thursday night. Belmont defeated Eastern Illinois 81-57. It was Tennessee State with an 81-65 win over Southern Illinois Edwardsville. And 21st ranked Murray State with a 91-56 pasting of Austin Peay.
Conference USA action down at the FIU. Middle gets the win 71-65. So big win for the Blue Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
In women's action last night, as I told you, Alabama 74, 12th ranked Tennessee 64. You said the trap game was coming. Maybe we should have not said that. The MTSU women also get a win. They get this one at home against Florida International 63-49. Kentucky a 69-65 winner over Vanderbilt.
High school basketball today in District 10 1A boys semifinal action. Culleoka plays at Santa Fe. That's a 6:30 p.m. tip. Also, Wayne County is at Richland at 6:30. 10 2A tournament action at Mount Pleasant. Girls semifinals. Giles County takes on Summertown. There we go. Summertown. Giles County takes on Summertown at 4 o'clock, followed by Lewis County and Loretto at 5:30. Boys semis, Giles County and Loretto at 7. Lewis County and Summertown at 8:30. All of that is at Mount Pleasant.
In 8-3A at Tullahoma, and girls semifinal action is Lincoln County and Page at 4 o'clock, followed by Lawrence County and Tullahoma at 5:30. In boys action in semifinals, it's Lawrence County and Page at 7, and then Tullahoma, Lincoln County in the nightcap at 8:30.
12-4A action up at Summit. Girls semifinals, Columbia Central and Summit at 4. Independence and Ravenwood at 5:30. Boys semifinals, Summit and Columbia Central at 7. Ravenwood and Independence at 8:30. NHL action tonight. The Nashville Predators travel east to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop at 6 o'clock on Bally Sports South.
And Saturday, high school basketball action 10-1A at Wayne County. Consolation, Santa Fe and Richland at 6 o'clock. And the championship is Collinwood, Wayne County at 7:30.
Those are girls.
That's correct. Okay. Girls consolation in 12-4A at Summit will be at 3 o'clock. Boys will follow at 4:30. And the championship games with the girls at 6 and the boys at 7:30. That's tomorrow at Summit for District 12 Class 4A.
One tournament, 5 teams, 3 days, done. Congratulations.
Seems easy.
It does. NCAA basketball doubleheaders on ESPN Plus on Saturday. Eastern Illinois is at Tennessee State at 12 noon. Tennessee Tech is at Austin Peay at 1:30. SIU-E is at Belmont at 2. And in ASUN, Lipscomb is at North Alabama at 1 o'clock.
In men's action only, 16th ranked Tennessee at 23rd ranked Arkansas, 3 p.m. tip on ESPN. Middle Tennessee State stays in South Florida. They'll be in Boca at Florida Atlantic. That's a 3 p.m. tip. Can't see it anywhere. You have to listen to Chip on the website or on the app, the Varsity app. And then Texas A&M Vanderbilt at 5 o'clock on the SEC Network. In women's action, Florida Atlantic is at Middle Tennessee State at 2 o'clock.
Sunday, SEC women's basketball action, a game that I'm a little less excited about now than I was 24 hours ago. Number 12, Tennessee goes to number 1, South Carolina. That's a 12 noon start on ABC. At 2 o'clock, Ole Miss travels to Memorial Gym, takes on the Commodores of Vanderbilt. Don't call them ladies. 2 o'clock, SEC Network Plus. At 7 o'clock, the NBA All-Star Game is on somewhere. ABC, ESPN,
TNT,
something.
probably TNT.
Could be TNT.
I have no idea.
We don't know, but I feel confident it's on somewhere. Well, I would kind of like to see what John Morant does.
Well, there you go. That'll be the only thing worth watching.
NASCAR action on Sunday, 1:30 on Fox. We do know where this is, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, it's from 1:15 to about 1:45. Watch it from 1:45 to about 3:45. Take you a good nap and then wake up for the last stage, and you're in good shape. You think I'm kidding? That's prime Sunday right there.
There you go.
There's nothing better than that on a Sunday.
Mid-race naps.
The mid-race naps are the best naps. All right, that's going to do it for the rundown and our top story today. Let's push it to the third segment because we got a little college football we want to talk about anyway. So, but we will tell you, college football, at least through 2026, is going to stick with 4 teams in the playoffs, and whether that's good or bad, I guess we can talk about it later. Also, Major League Baseball set a date for spring training despite still not having a CBA.
Well, here's the thing. It's a lockout. You can stop the lockout whenever.
That's true.
So,
apparently March 5th is when they're going to start, though. So I don't know. Oh. Plenty to get to today. Y'all stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back to the Lee Company studio here in Columbia, Tennessee. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Man, what a day it is. And it almost never fails. When you have a storm like yesterday, this is always the day that follows. And it's almost like a sign that, hey, it's okay. Weather the storm, and it's going to be nice on the other side.
Oh, what's crazy is you had a great day on Wednesday.
Oh, a phenomenal day on Wednesday.
And yesterday was, ugh.
I mean, we literally had a river in the street next to the building.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But we weathered the storm. You guys weathered the storm. And now the weekend is upon us. Do you know who did not weather the storm, Mo?
I do know who did not weather the storm, actually.
The Lady Vols last night did not weather the storm. And again, for the third time, 3 times in a row, you mentioned trap game on this show. And
somebody gets trapped.
Seems to come to pass.
Yeah.
So we were excited.
Perhaps this could be a trap game for South Carolina.
Perhaps.
Yeah, let's look at their schedule.
That being said, we were excited about this Tennessee-South Carolina matchup and still are. I mean, there's no reason to not be excited. You are going to get a really good women's college basketball game on Sunday at noon. So let's talk about it. And to do that, we'll bring in the expert, Mechelle Voepel of ESPN. Certainly knows about these 2 programs, these 2 teams, and these 2 coaches. So, Mechelle, thanks for taking some time with us today. Welcome in.
All right, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, Mechelle. We had you on a couple of weeks ago. Chris was unable to be with us, but
so I made them get you back.
Yeah.
So I could,
but
just kidding.
But things didn't go so well coming out of that show for UT. They got started a little early this time around with the 74-64 loss down at Tuscaloosa last night, and losing Jordan Horston in the process, some sort of an arm injury, it seems. Have you heard anything? What's the latest on that you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how long Jordan's going to be out. I think that's obviously a huge concern. She's been really the heart and soul of this team. It's just kind of like when it rains, it pours. And I'm hoping I'm not the cause of this, because I think the last time I was on, I was really talking up the Lady Vols, and that night they lost to Auburn. So I hope it's not me. Let's put it that way.
You hope it's not you. We hope it's not
really
us.
weird.
Yeah, because they went through some struggles there. They lost that game to Auburn. I think they lost another one to Florida in that stretch. And I really don't think it's us, Mechelle. I really think it's them. They've been a little inconsistent. Although one thing that you pointed out when you spoke with us was your concern with their turnovers. They only had 14 in this loss last night to Alabama.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Just the games that they've lost. The Auburn game really, I felt like, came out of the blue. I don't think anybody saw that loss coming. They were, they were named the number 1 seed that night in the early reveal from the NCAA, and Auburn, pretty much hadn't won. I think they were on a 23 game conference losing streak, and I think that loss really shook the Lady Vols. They'd lost Kean Green, which obviously a big loss off the bench, but I just think their confidence got rattled, and Kelly Harper's talked about that. But that's lasted. They haven't been very good on the road, and the SEC is so difficult a conference that if you give a team an opening, or in the case of it seemed like last night, it was just like Tennessee seemed like they were down 10 points before the game started. So it's going to be a real gut check game, if you will, going into South Carolina on Sunday.
And you talk about this team kind of struggling on the road. Coming out of that Auburn game, they defeated Arkansas 86-83 in overtime at Thompson Bowling, but then they went to Florida. They got beat by 25. They went to UConn. They lost pretty big there. Bounced back with a couple of home wins before losing to an Alabama team that they beat pretty handily at TBA. So maybe it is the home thing, and maybe that bodes well for them, because after South Carolina, they finish up with back-to-back home games against Mississippi State and LSU before the tournament, which, quiet as it's kept, we are approaching the last week of the regular season in SEC women's basketball play.
Yeah, and as you guys know, I mean, this is the time of the year when you want to be sort of rounding into form, and that's not really happening with Tennessee right now. I think a lot of people probably saw the video of Kelly talking to her team and talking about toughness, and I think everything she was saying there was really what people have seen. You know, that idea of, you know, she said she doesn't want Tennessee to be the less tough team, if you will. And that's mental toughness as much as anything. And I think she's trying to get that across to this group, because we know they don't lack talent, but that mental toughness, that ability to play consistently is, if you don't have that, you're going to get eaten alive in the SEC.
You know, at the same time, as you mentioned, losing Kayan Green a few weeks ago, losing Jordan Horston for an extent, or for some period of time now, you know, the troops are getting debilitated there a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, we see that, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things about basketball. The thing you can't control no matter what is injuries. It's going to happen. You just hope it doesn't happen at the worst possible time. And in this case, I don't know how to say this, the worst possible person, you know, with Jordan and the way that she's been playing this season. But, you know, it's something that I think teams always have to respond to. You know, it does happen, and they have to respond to it. So, you know, this is, I guess I look at this season as, I think Tennessee played actually better for a lot of part of the season than I maybe was expecting them to. And then they've struggled in the last few weeks. So, you know, what do they have in the tank? And, you know, how can they rise to the occasion? And it's going to be very hard going into Columbia, because they have, with South Carolina, obviously, it's just looks like a buzzsaw, especially at home.
Speaking with Mechelle Voepel of ESPN here on Main Street Sports today. I mean, Aaliyah Boston, like you said, this is a really, really good basketball team, but you want to talk about one of the most exciting players in all of college basketball, leads their team in points and rebounds, averaging a double-double, almost 3 blocks a game. How can Tennessee either avoid her or how do they have to attack someone like Aaliyah Boston?
See, this is why, one of the many reasons I'm so glad I don't coach, because my thought would be, I have no idea, right? Like, how do you do this? But you're right about her. She is going to be National Player of the Year. I don't even think there's a debate about that, or there shouldn't be. She's been phenomenal all year, and she was already so good as a sophomore, and obviously very even good as a freshman. But I feel like she's upped her game to a level now where, you know, if she were a male player, she'd be, you know, in the pros, right? She's just that good. And so what they have to do, obviously, is you try to deny her the ball. That's you know a pretty basic thing. And I think it helps to have Tamari. You know, she's got size. She's such a good defensive player. That's going to help. But, you know, trying to, you know, she's got to get help herself and trying to stay out of foul trouble. And then you just look at all the other weapons they have and how good defensively they've been. I mean, they are on pace to be one of the best teams historically in the SEC, a conference, as you guys know, that has always been the best in women's basketball on defense. So it makes it tough. You know, I was at the game at Missouri where South Carolina lost, and I still don't believe I saw that, even though I was sitting there watching it. So it's hard to believe they've lost one game. They're so good. So it's tough, but I also think that this is the kind of game where as a program you dig deep. And I think that's probably what Kelly's going to be asking her kids to do.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's interesting because it does appear, much like Tennessee, that South Carolina struggles a little more on the road than they do at home. And unfortunately for Tennessee, this one's not at TBA. So you've got to go to Columbia, South Carolina and get that win. And it's not an easy place to win at all. I couldn't tell you the last time they lost.
No, it hasn't been. Yeah, it hasn't been an easy place to play in such a long time. But that I know everybody talks about it, but as somebody who covers the sport nationally, I always remind people that it's not an exaggeration that every game, even against the teams that are at the bottom of the standings, every game is really hard in the SEC. Every conference says that. It's not always true. It is virtually always true in the SEC. There's just so many good athletes at programs, even programs that are struggling. And you look at a team like Alabama, how good would Alabama be in a different conference? But that's just part of being in the SEC. And usually they're rewarded. They're rewarded with a lot of bids. So I do think the committee usually recognizes that. But there's just no there's not going to be any mercy, no matter where you're going in the SEC. And if you're dealing with some injuries, you just have to deal with that.
Mechelle Voepel of ESPN.com with us here. Mechelle, thanks so much for taking some time with us, and we always appreciate your insight into women's basketball, especially here on this show. So we thank you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, and thanks for all you guys do for women's basketball. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. When we come back, there's a little college football news, kind of broke a little earlier today, but also I was reading a story on Bleacher Report about the most anticipated college football rematches of 2022, and there's some interesting stuff on a top 10 list from Bleacher Report. So get your thoughts on it on the other side of the break. Y'all stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today. presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Hey, guys, just want to tell you real quick, don't forget about the Main Street Preps podcast. You can join Main Street Preps editor Russell Venozzi and lead writer Tyler Palmatier as they bring you a recap and preview of the week's biggest high school sports news from around Middle Tennessee. Airing live on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and archived on social media and on the podcast distribution platform of your choice. Don't forget also you can follow Main Street Preps on Twitter at Main Street Preps. That's Main Street Preps this week. There we go. Had to make sure I get that extra sugar out from sad day in southern Middle Tennessee. Not today. Technically, tomorrow is the sad day, but it's not any easier on Friday either.
Well, it's sad because we're not going to get in there tomorrow. But
speak for yourself. I do have the ability and just might.
Oh, well, all right. I'm not going to get in there tomorrow. So
I might save you one for Monday. It'll still be good, right?
You're not going to save me a donut 2 days. Don't even tell that lie. Sweet Bakes here in
No
Columbia.
chance.
This is the final weekend that they will be open, unfortunately, and we're sad.
We are very sad. It's so good.
Yeah, Mo, the over-under on the chance that he saves you a donut over the weekend?
Yeah. The percentage chance,
whatever
2%.
it is, I'm taking the under.
0.0, Mr. Blutarski.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, right? Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Well,
exactly.
That sounds like a great life to me.
If you got sweet cake donuts, maybe okay.
Well, you know, and Sweet Bakes, especially if you're out there, by the way, and you are, you know, maybe you want to buy a donut bakery. It's for sale.
It's for sale. Yeah.
You are.
Keep it going.
And I'm sure
we won't even ask for any commission.
We will not. We just you know, a
complimentary
donut.
donuts on Fridays.
Yeah.
Complimentary donuts on Fridays would be phenomenal.
Yep.
That'd be great.
or any other day you choose.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll talk about you.
We'll take them.
No doubt.
Yeah.
The breaking news from today that college football playoffs will remain at 4 teams throughout the remainder of this contract, which I believe goes through 2026.
26 or 25? I'm not sure, but it's somewhere in
25
there.
season, 26 bowls.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
I think is correct.
Okay.
So
the 25-26, kind of like we were talking about with Alabama.
So 2, 3, yeah. It's 4 more seasons.
Okay. Okay. Huh. Then what?
I don't know, but friend of the show, Matt Brown, had a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought it was probably the most important question.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, almost everybody outside of conference leadership wants it to expand. There are some people out there who think there's no reason for expansion, but most college football people want it to expand. The reason they are hung up is auto bids and payout. The two things that should matter the least. One, auto bid shouldn't be a problem because most Power Fives are going to get in no matter what, almost every time.
Well, you would think that your conference champions are going to be sufficiently good to warrant being included.
Most of the time. You're going to get the random, Wisconsin Wisconsin that beats that year that Pitt could have beaten Clemson, and had there been an auto bid that would have been like 8-4 Pitt instead of Clemson. Like, I get that, and that's why I don't think that auto bids are absolutely necessary. You're going to get a team in no matter what. If it's not your champion, you're going to get a team in the playoff. So
I guess my
whatever.
thing is, in that situation, though, I just think you got to ride with it. I mean, winning the championship of your conference should mean something.
It should mean something.
It?
Well, yeah. And I'm not saying I'm just saying, look, either way, just pick one.
Right.
It's not a hard decision. Flip a coin. The payout is so astronomical. Why are we arguing over $250,000 here and there? Like, stop.
Yeah.
And so his tweet was that, we're heading toward a new NCAA governance structure that gives these people, the people who are in charge of the college football playoff and the Power Fives, even more power. And they can't figure out the small details. How are they going to tackle the harder questions? And so if you can't just figure out the small details, these are easy. These are make a decision and go with it and don't look back. And everybody count their $100 bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bunch of them.
So anyway, I'm dead set in the camp of expansion is positive, because the only people who are against it, or the people who are against it, are people who are fans of the Southeastern Conference, who think that Alabama is something that's just going to always be a thing.
And it's not. I mean, it hasn't always been a thing. Why would you think it's always going to be a thing?
My point was, expansion now is for post Saban college football. And that's the way it is. Well, yeah. why should a group of 5 teams crying and Cincinnati quelled that argument? No, it didn't. They didn't lose any differently than Michigan State or Ohio State or Washington or anyone else that Alabama has beaten in the playoffs.
Nope.
So why does it only disqualify one of those? It doesn't.
If that's the rationale, we could just crown Alabama every year and let everybody else play for number second. 2. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Georgia beating them. Well, and then they go into the FCS argument. Well, they have a 32-team playoff in North Dakota State. Well, North Dakota State is Alabama. James Madison is Georgia or Clemson, your choice. But what they don't realize is that North Dakota State beat the 8th seed this year in the championship game, not the 2 seed. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that the 2 seed was getting there. They don't want to hear that.
Exactly.
They don't want to have that conversation.
No. So why is this so difficult? Why do we want to? Could you imagine how much more fun the Sugar Bowl would have been if Baylor and Ole Miss were playing for the right to move on to the next round?
One word: pride. Pride of those other conferences, not the SEC.
What's the pride, though? You're still getting your butt kicked by the SEC. You got a much better chance of getting
pride of not going with something the SEC proposed.
Wants.
And something they want.
Anti-SEC.
Yes. So whether it's good for the greater good or not, because the SEC wants it, therefore the rest do not. I think, honestly, I think that's all it boils down to.
They realize that when this college football gets to the next level of the NCAA not being the controlling entity, that it's going to be the SEC and the Big Ten, and you'll fall in line or you'll get out.
That's right.
I don't understand. You're hurting yourself now.
I guess they're trying to just avoid the inevitable, delay the inevitable.
Why?
Because they
don't like money.
They don't like giving up power.
But they're getting more power. That's the thing, is they're getting more power with more teams in. That's what they don't understand.
And I don't know how they don't.
It's baffling.
I think they do. Again, I think they have just drawn their line in the sand.
They have.
With the Oklahoma, Texas situation, they've drawn their line in the sand, and they're just going to, it doesn't matter what the optics are, they're just going to try to get some sort of foothold, some sort of position while they can. And
so this is all the fault of the guy at the Houston Chronicle.
What's that guy's name?
I mean, seriously, because we talked about it early summer. We were headed to expansion. And then as soon as Oklahoma, Texas news breaks, screech, halt. Then you've got the Alliance. You've got all of this other stuff coming out. And now it's, well, whatever the SEC wants, we're voting the other way.
Yeah.
Brent Zwerneman.
It was a Z word.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all his fault. It's all your fault. It's all your...
Anyway, moving on.
Let's move on, because I do want to get into something not as heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10, according to Bleacher Report, rematches they are anticipating for 2022. Oklahoma State at Baylor, number 10.
These are rematches from last year.
Yep. So they're looking forward to that October 1st matchup against Oklahoma State at Baylor. I can see that. That's probably going to be a good, decent game. This one makes no sense. October 1st, Stanford at Oregon. Yeah, Stanford won last year, but meh.
It's Pac-10, 12. What are they?
12.
Okay. It's West Coast football.
Texas, Oklahoma. Absolutely. Always looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Why are these specifically rematches? I mean, because all of these are games that are played pretty much every year, or those three are anyway. I mean, are there any non-conference?
Number 7, Penn State at Auburn.
Okay.
Just because it was a good game. I think these are just games that maybe the favored team almost lost or did lose,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're looking for that to kind of repeat itself. Texas A&M, Alabama, not looking forward to that, because Texas A&M, it's at Alabama. Texas A&M ain't coming to Tuscaloosa. Same thing that on number 3 on this list is the Iron Bowl. Anybody who's ever seen the Iron Bowl knows that it's a whole different ball game when it's in Tuscaloosa versus when it's in Jordan-Hare. That's going to be a bloodbath, because Alabama's going to be way better than they were this year.
And Auburn may not be as good.
And Auburn's not going to be as good. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Bedlam, with Oklahoma State winning last year. So Michigan State, Michigan.
Now, hold on. Now, this Oklahoma State, Oklahoma game will be the last time that's a Big 12 game.
That's
right?
correct.
So
the last Bedlam as a Big 12 game. Michigan State, Michigan. I don't know what Michigan's going to be like. We said yesterday that they're not going to be very good, so I don't know that I love that one either. Ole Miss, Arkansas. 52-51 last year. Probably going to be something similar.
Corral's gone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's Lane Kiffin, baby. He's the QB whisperer. And then Michigan, Ohio State, which is not going to be good.
No, it's not. No.
About half of those I'm not looking forward to. Nope. There's some I'm okay with, but most of them I'm not. Halftime here on Friday. Let's take a quick break. Come back. Tell you about a good place to hide your money if you're going on a flight, or maybe not such a good place. Tell you where it is on the way back.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
So you're gonna take a flight, but you got 10 grand you gotta take with you. You're not gonna put it in your purse or your wallet or in your carry-on.
And you're dang sure not gonna check it.
Where would you put it? Where would you take it in your carry-on?
I'd be more likely to take it in my carry-on than I am to check it.
Yeah,
I'm not letting it out of my sight.
Yeah, it's got to be on person somehow.
Yeah.
10 grand now.
10 grand.
10 grand.
Yeah.
Remember, if you have $10,001, FBI gets involved.
Is it 10,001 or is it anything more than 9,999? Okay.
So 10,000
It's
even's okay.
never been anything I've had to.
Not a problem you had to worry about.
Well, what is one thing you probably should never take on an airplane, no matter what?
A gun?
A gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
A knife now.
How about a pressure cooker?
Pressure cooker. On an airplane?
Why?
To take it to whether you're checking it, whatever. Well,
Like a stovetop pressure cooker?
apparently, a woman in Boston stuffed 10 grand in the bottom of a pressure cooker. Pressure cookers are used to detonate bombs, folks.
They can, yeah.
Do not bring a pressure cooker anywhere near an airport. Anyway, she put it in the bottom. They found it. Massachusetts State Police said, I'm not sure why she decided to hide the money in a slow cooker, but eventually they cleared her and the money. So apparently she obtained the money legally and she wasn't doing anything illegal with it. So they let her go. She did miss her flight to New York, though.
I didn't realize folks flew from Boston to New York.
It's kind of dumb, right?
Could have saved herself a whole lot of trouble. The car
It's all weird. This whole thing is weird. 10 grand in a slow cooker.
on a flight from Boston to New York.
None of this makes any sense. Oh, man. Second half coming up. Teresa Walker for 2 segments, and then we'll talk about high school hoops for this weekend. So, y'all, come back with us on Main Street Sports Today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Don in orange today, Chris Yao.
I still got my sun drop, though.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, you do.
That's all that matters.
Sun drop. Way better than sun kissed, even if sun kissed is orange. That's all I'm saying. Welcome back in. Second half of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It is Friday. We're on the way out. If you heard the rundown earlier, you know that we've got a lot going on this weekend. And we will get to it in the final segment and talk a little more in depth about that. But what a busy week and a half, 2 weeks it has been for our friend Teresa Walker, who was on the red carpet out in Los Angeles. Can we just call her Hollywood now?
Hollywood Walker.
What's up, Hollywood? Teresa Walker
like
joins us now. Teresa, what's going on?
Good. I don't mind that. Although being in Inglewood, does that count as Hollywood if there is a red carpet involved?
From here, yes.
It's way closer than we
That
are.
works for me.
Yeah. From here, it's absolutely Hollywood. Yeah. Finally got in Tuesday night around midnight, I'm told. So
Monday night.
Monday night around.
But yeah, it was it took me all day Tuesday to recover. I'll just say, after
bet.
a 12-hour day covering the Super Bowl, 12 hours traveling plus on Monday. Yes, I was pretty worn out.
But the AP didn't put you on wheels up.
No, I booked my own flight, so I was trying to make sure I had a nonstop out there. I didn't care so much on the way back until I was on the flight, and it was taking forever. I don't know what it was about Delta, but they shunted a bunch of us heading to Nashville, to Seattle, and then to Nashville from LAX. So it was a long way home.
Some of the things they're doing with airline routes these days are pretty crazy. My daughter came home around Christmas from the Phoenix area, and her flight back out was Nashville, Orlando, Phoenix. I don't.
It is crazy.
I don't get it, but hey, who am I?
And
what do I know?
That's not our area of expertise. So
No,
we'll just
if we have one, that's not it.
It's like James Greger when they ask him how much he weighed, so they know how much gas to put in the plane. He said, "Fill it up." So I guess they're just trying to make sure they ration the fuel. I don't know.
Teresa, as you
were, and the funny thing,
go ahead.
Real quick, the funny thing is the flight crew that was on the flight from LA to Seattle was the same crew with us from Seattle to Nashville. So they had a long day of tech too. So yes, it makes no sense at all.
After watching the Super Bowl, Teresa, how far off do you feel like the Titans are?
They're right there, Mo. I mean, they could have, should have, would have been in that game. I mean, think about it. First time since they started seeding teams for the Super Bowl in 1975 that a 1 or a 2 seed makes the Super Bowl. So, 2 4 seeds for the first time faced off in the Super Bowl. So it's not so much, how close are they? Well, they were real close. I mean, they were the favorite. They were the 1 seed, had home field advantage, and yet, 3 interceptions. The last one with 20 seconds left. When if you just get to overtime at that point, then you're going to a coin flip, and you might be like the Bills and be unhappy with the results, or you might be shoot like the Bengals and your defense makes a stop and you're going back down to win the game. So this team is very close, which I'm very curious to see what John Robinson does. Is it a matter of renegotiate and rework some of these contracts to create salary cap space? Do you try to keep Harold Landry from hitting free agency, or do you think, well, we'll just try Rashad Weaver, who spent essentially all of last year as a rookie on IR, and see what we can do in the draft? So it's going to be very interesting, because the 2 things I think this team needs is a true number 1 tight end, which they never had last year. Anthony Firkser never was able to be that guy. And then more receiving depth. If they can get, a couple of pieces to go along with, behind A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Nick Westbrook-Akina is great, but guys, let's be honest, he should be your 4th and 5th option at wide receiver. So, you add a little tweak your depth and add those pieces. You should, if you're over there at St. Thomas Sports Park, you should be thinking we've got every reason to think we can be playing in Super Bowl 57, which will be in Phoenix next year, as anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, Orlando, apparently. Mo, don't you love it when people smarter than us justify what we said literally yesterday about receiving depth and tight ends? That makes you feel good.
It does. It does. I mean, the validation from people who actually know what they're talking about, as opposed to just throwing something against the wall.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I tend to believe that as well, Teresa. Yeah. Harold Landry, is he target number 1 for J-Rob?
Well, I think he is, just because, but you know what? The number 1 target is, what to do with some of these contracts. I mean, I started working on my free agency capsule for the Titans. They're, according to overthecap.com, they're $7.1 million in the red. So before he can do anything, he needs to clear space. So, is that, rework Taylor Lewan's deal, Ryan Tannehill, yes. Kevin Byard made clear that he would redo his deal to help keep Harold Landry here. So, that's going to be the fun challenge.
No other deal should be redone before Taylor Lewan's deal is redone.
Well, I mean,
now
every
redoing
player
a deal usually means
every player wants to redo their deal because they're getting their money up front.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, that's I don't care. I just, you know.
Give me my money.
Are you wanting Taylor Lewan cut at this point and go for a new left tackle?
I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it. I mean, depending on who it is. I don't know. I've just watched that guy at some of the worst possible moments make some of the worst possible plays while he's nearly the highest paid guy, and it just gets to be a little frustrating sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. If John Robinson decides, you know what, I saw enough out of Dylan Radins on a few hours' notice against the Niners that he can be my left tackle moving forward, then, yeah, you go ahead and you cut Taylor Lewan and you take the dead cap hit and all that stuff and then just move in a new direction. Now, Roger Saffold's a guy who's going into the last year of his deal. He played really well. You know, he did get to the Pro Bowl, and more importantly, he got votes for the AP All-Pro team. So this is a guy who produces and, you know, has done some good things for you. Now, he had some issues last year with a shoulder that he plans to get repaired in surgery. So if you do that, then you've got a healthy Roger Saffold who can just mow people over when he wants to. So that's going to be the interesting for thing. You know, do they keep him? Do they extend him? How do they handle him? And then, Ben Jones is a guy who, his contract's up. So, that's the fun thing. They got 21 free agents that are posed to hit free agency, led by Landry Jones, you name it. But then there's also 7 guys who are restricted free agents. So, that front office is going to be very, very, very busy. And, you mentioned Taylor Lewan. His cap number this year is going to be $14.6 million. But the fun part is, you cut him before you don't save a ton of money if you cut him. So yeah, I'm looking it over the caps. I'm not too good with their numbers, but you're going to take a dead cap number hit at some point. So, but yeah, he's due to count $14.6 million against your cap this year. The good thing though, Mo, is he's not going to be the highest one at this point. Right now as it is, Ryan Tannehill at $38.6 million. Bud Dupree with a $19.2 million cap hit, and then Kevin Byard with a $15.8, and then Derrick Henry at $15 million cap hit. So those are some numbers that at least make sense, right?
Relative to productivity, yeah, they do. Teresa Walker with the Associated Press here with us on Main Street Sports today, and she's going to be gracious enough to join us again in the next segment as well. So we're going to take a break here and come back to Teresa after this. This is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. What better way to start your morning every weekday than with all the latest news from around the Middle Tennessee area with Big Joe Dubin? I don't know. Join Big Joe and Justin each weekday, 7 a.m. for the most up-to-date news and more from around the entire mid-state. It's Mornings on Main Street. Big Joe Dubin, 7 a.m. on all Main Street social media platforms. Welcome back in to Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton, the Hall of Famer, and National Sports Media Association's Sports Writer of the Year. Joining us on the phone is last year's NSMA Sports Writer of the Year and fellow Hall of Famer. Look at that. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
JP, we're in the company of greatness.
Yes, we are.
It is amazing.
It's exuding in the room.
And Teresa's on the phone with Time Magazine's Person of the Year from 2006. Of course, she also happens to be 2006 Time Magazine's Person of the Year. As all of them.
Yes, we all share that.
Oh, man. Teresa
has no idea what you're talking about.
2 times is 1 time too many.
She has no idea, and that's okay.
That's okay, but I was going to say I actually won previous to Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year award.
2 times.
Yeah.
2 times.
Just to be clear. Yeah.
And 4 of the previous 6, actually. So
yeah.
She's the Ric Flair of the NSMA Sports Writer of the Year award.
Woo.
Let me get 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
There we go. Yeah. Teresa, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Predators, but before we move away from the Titans, there was some news that came out yesterday about the possibility of a new stadium for the Titans, actually in Nashville. What are you hearing? What do you know? What are your thoughts as far as that goes?
Well, I'll say this. Not surprised that once they started looking at what it might cost to redo that stadium, that they found out that, look, we might have to go back in. I mean, if you renovate a house, usually don't think about having to redo the plumbing, the electrical, replace all the windows, those kind of things. And that's where renovation can start getting very, very pricey. And that's what seems to have happened here. They were talking about, and this talk about renovating the stadium. I mean, we knew, the lease was up later this decade. They've been in there 23 years, 23 seasons, and it was a 30-year lease. So, they've been talking since the draft. That's when I first started hearing around then, a Hard Rock style renovation is what they were kind of envisioning. But that's the thing. Once you get the contractors in and they start looking, then they're saying, well, and anyone who was around Nashville, when they were building this in the late 90s, $292 million is what they put into the stadium. Not all the money went into the stadium. Some of that was, to get the, do some roads and, move some things around. So not all of that money went into the stadium. In fact, they built it so on the cheap that, a few years in, it's like, okay, now we've got some money. We're going to put some elevators to the upper deck. We're going to put in this and that and improve the sound system. And, so they've been, a few years ago, they replaced all the seats because, stuff like that wears out. But when you're if you're going to have to do a big renovation, so you're putting in new floors and changing out the bathrooms, redoing the kitchen, but then you suddenly have to, do plumbing and electrical and oh yeah, the posts that hold up the house on the inside of all the plaster, you need to put steel in because of what you had. That's where this price and hat tip to Nate Rao with the break on this. The idea that, it just might end up being cheaper to just build a brand new place. And that's the one thing, we'd heard, that Miss Amy Adams Strunkett said she didn't want a new stadium. Well, nobody wants to build a new house until they have to. And, this is a town that was asked a few years ago when they started the college football playoffs. Nashville was asked to consider bidding to host the semifinal, right? This is a town having now had, the 2019 NFL draft. If they can get a roof, retractable roof, whatever they were to go to, then that would open up that building for so much more. Final Four, college football playoff, Super Bowl, none of that would be off the table because, Nashville, with all the rooms that are coming on board, hotels have been being built, and just drive by, you can see all the cranes building more hotels everywhere, right? So housing people for those big events would not be a problem. And suddenly that field, instead of just hosting this, what do they call CMA Fan Fest these days in June? You could be hosting big concerts throughout the year. So, and that it becomes suddenly a much more usable thing. And for all that they were working around that stadium, suddenly now they've got to go back to the drawing board to see exactly what do they need to do. So, interesting, not too surprising in a way, because again, Bud Adams wanted a new stadium, and he didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. National taxpayers picked up most of it, and PSL owners, and it was done. You having just been in SoFi Stadium, having seen Mercedes-Benz and some of the newest stadiums in the NFL, Nissan Stadium is nowhere close to this.
Teresa, I really wish you hadn't said all that. Because
I'm sorry.
No, JP and I were just subjected to a large degree of that yesterday by the third person in this room. And again, you just validated him. And
I'm sorry,
man,
it's true.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, Nashville is the it city, right? Right now across the country, and I know you mentioned Minnesota or Minneapolis, Milwaukee, whatever it was on Twitter. But again, Minneapolis recently got the Super Bowl because of this, right? They got a new stadium. The way that Nashville put the draft on, and then you've got the ability to host things like the Super Bowl and so much more. I don't know. And then, like you said, Teresa, this thing's built out of rocks, and putting steel inside rocks is not easy to do. So how do you renovate a stadium that you have to literally tear down to renovate? Doesn't make any sense.
That's the big question. Do they go to the right and build, remember what that Nashville Stars, their whole plan of year and a half ago is like, we'll put the stadium to the next to the pedestrian bridge, next to Nissan Stadium. We'll go there. And it's like Nissan, the Titans are like, no, we control that land. Thank you very much. So now they're at a point where it's like, so that's exactly.
That was a really good plan, guys. We're going to use it.
Yeah. Thanks. Now that you mention it.
Well, and that's the thing. It might be as simple as that, right? Because they're going to need to play a season, and anyone who remembers 1998 playing in Vanderbilt was not good.
Yeah. And
Vanderbilt's about to be doing some of their own renovations as well. So maybe you do build it beside it and then do something with the other one. But that's the thing. They've been looking at renovating that whole area around the stadium. How many times have we heard the phrase comparison to Wrigleyville? So that's the thing. They've got some space, and then there's lots of parking lots out there. And that's a whole area that we're just waiting to see what all is in store for what they can do with that area. So why not? And hey, it's not easy, but the part that if I'm a Nashville taxpayer that jumps out to me, that sounds good, is the fact that they're trying to figure out a way to get the Titans and the stadium upkeep out of the Nashville General Fund, which eases the hit for Nashville taxpayers and frees up money for other things.
other much needed things, by the way. So
yeah. Also, though, the tax base has drastically increased since 1998. So that's a positive. And I read somewhere, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it was around 50% that PSLs took on for over the lifespan of the stadium. Where does that leave them? Or will it matter because this new stadium would be built toward the end of the lease?
Those are questions I don't know the answer
Gotcha.
to. I'd have,
Okay.
and I do in my files here beside me at my home office. I do have all the paperwork from the original lease and all that stuff. And the Titans don't actually, the Nashville isn't tied in with the Titans. They work with their LLC, and I think it's like Cumberland something or another, which actually technically runs the stadium for the Titans and does all the contracting with with Nashville. So yeah, it's always fun. It's never boring.
Let's move on to talk a little bit about the Nashville Predators, because 3-game losing streak. Is this a bump in the road? Is it a mid-season slump, or are they in real trouble, Teresa?
It feels like a bump in the road, but yesterday when I was doing a short little story on John Himes being fined $25,000 by the NHL for something he probably said at the end of the game the other night when he got a game misconduct, literally, the time elapsed in the game, I was looking and it's like, Nashville Predators lead the NHL in penalties. We're talking about minor penalties. We're talking about major penalties and minutes, total penalty minutes, and then penalty minutes per game. They lead the league across the board in those areas. There's a couple that they don't quite have just yet, but they're working hard on the game misconduct. John Himes helped them catch up there, but they've got to clean up the penalties. You can't be that sloppy, and you're going to get penalties. Sure, it's that kind of game, but the other night against the Capitals, you can't give talented teams with a guy like Ovechkin, or tonight when they go to Carolina, or when they go to Florida, you can't give good teams the Lightning in a week when they have the Stadium Series game. You just can't give good teams extra chances with a man advantage, because then you're killing penalties, you're using energy, and it ends up, you're just shooting yourselves in the foot, so to speak. So they've got to clean that up. Otherwise keep playing the way they're playing. The challenge is they were up in the standings because they had games and, there were a bunch of teams who had games in hand on them. Well, those teams are now playing those games and catching up in the number of games played, and they're leapfrogging the Predators. So right now the Predators, at least last night when I checked yesterday, they were in the first wild card spot. That might be the spot they end up sitting. Because they've got a 5-point lead over the Kings, 5 points over Anaheim, but Dallas has still got 2 games in hand, and they're 6 points back, so they've got some breathing room now. But Minnesota's ahead of them, and Minnesota's got 4 games in hand, and they're still ahead of them. So catching up and getting back into that top 3 in the Central Division is going to be a challenge, and they just simply cannot keep taking penalties if they want to catch them.
Teresa, you mentioned it. Speaking of Nissan Stadium, the Predators will be playing there a week from tomorrow against Tampa Bay in the 2022 NHL Stadium Series. So that should be a pretty exciting event locally here. It'll be the Predators' second appearance in one of those events, but the first time that they will host it. And so it's big doings, I would think.
It's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't been down to the stadium yet this week. I'm trying to catch up because, it's been a long few months, right? So I haven't seen, but the pictures coming from there as they're setting up the floor and, the mock-up that they tweeted out today of what it's going to look like next Saturday certainly looks amazing. So it's going to be fun to see what's happening. And, I think I saw a tweet from NHLPR earlier that there's only been like 2 times that a team is beaten the defending champ in one of these games, whatever. But this is going to be a chance for Nashville to shine. off the ice certainly, but certainly on the ice, because this is a chance for the Predators to, if you can beat the Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champ, that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, no question there. Teresa Walker of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Teresa, thank you for taking some time with us. We appreciate it. And, I really enjoyed your coverage of the Super Bowl, especially your red carpet photos, and it just looked like so much fun. And I'm glad that you had a good time and were able to cover that for us, and we appreciate that as well.
My pleasure. And yeah, it was fun. A lot of hard work, but I didn't share pictures of that. But I mean, hey guys, I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else.
Appreciate it, man. All right, final segment. Let's get out of here on some high school sports news. What do you say?
That'll work.
We'll be right back on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll talk Southern Middle Tennessee High School district tournaments on the other side. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back. Final segment. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports High School Hoops segment.
Nice save.
No, that's where I was going.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Let's see here.
Not much going on, is it?
What have we got?
What have we here?
What a week. It's kind of been a crazy week because of yesterday, kind of messing us up with District 10 1A. We were supposed to have some semifinals last night, and now we don't.
Well, now they are now those
or
are
then
tonight.
We don't. Now we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Culleokas and Santa Fe boys are playing tonight, and then Wayne County Richland boys, and the winners will take on one another for the championship on what now is it Monday now? Yeah, Monday now for them.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
which still could have been tomorrow.
Well, these kids got to have rest.
Anyway,
I got nothing, man.
Zero reason that they're not playing tomorrow.
I got nothing.
I'm not mad that they aren't because I wouldn't be able to go if they were, but it's still a little frustrating.
Oh, so will you now be able to go
I will
on Monday?
now, in fact, be able to go on Monday.
You're going Monday?
Yeah.
You're going to Wayne County Monday?
Sure.
Okay.
It's a championship, baby.
Cool.
Why are they not playing the semifinals there?
It's Wayne County? I don't know.
Y'all ain't even in it.
I don't know. No, they are both.
No, I know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what the. You're asking me to apply logic to an illogical situation, and we've had this conversation on numerous occasions over the last almost 2 years. So, but yeah.
So the girls are playing tomorrow.
The girls are playing their consolations and championships tomorrow because they played their semifinals on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
So would
have been last.
They've
night.
had enough rest. No,
would have been tonight.
No.
It was all scheduled for Saturday?
It was all scheduled for Saturday because the girls played their semifinals on Wednesday. The boys were supposed to play theirs on Thursday, and then everything championship / consolation was going to be tomorrow. But now, because the boys didn't play their semifinals yesterday, the girls are playing championships and consolations, or consolations and championships tomorrow, and then the boys are playing Monday.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got plenty of stuff to get. If you want to go to some basketball tonight, there are options.
There are options. Now, some of them you'd better get moving pretty quickly for because 8-3A at Tullahoma has 4 games tonight, girls and boys semifinals, as we mentioned in the rundown in the first portion of the show. Lincoln County and Page girls at 4, Lawrence County and Tullahoma girls at 5:30, Lawrence County and Page boys at 7, Tullahoma and Lincoln County at 8:30. If you left now, you might get there for that Lawrence County Tullahoma game. I mean, depending on where you're leaving from, I guess.
Yeah. There's a girls game at 4:00 in Summit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's if you want to see some hoops, you can. Today is one of those days where you can go and watch the rest of the evening.
Yeah, you can drive in any direction and see some basketball and some good basketball. Again, the 10-2A semifinals are out at Mount Pleasant tonight. Giles County and Summertown girls, Lewis County and Loretto girls, Giles County and Loretto boys, Lewis County and Summertown boys, starting at 4. So
this is the bad part about having the random host, especially when like Mount Pleasant. I mean, neither of their 2 teams are in it yet. They're hosting.
I think it's got to be sickening for a coach to watch a tournament go on in their gym and they're not involved in it.
And it's like, I've got to do all of this dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I ain't even playing.
Clean the floors and make sure the bathroom's open and the concession stand and all of this.
And the officials' dressing room and all that other stuff. And my team ain't even playing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, it's different if your team, was in the semifinals and then lost, they'd still be in the consolations, but they're not even in it. Either team.
And then, if Richland beats Wayne County, either Culleoka or Santa Fe's got to go all the way to Wayne County to play Richland. Like,
correct.
It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean,
they rotate those districts.
They rotate it, and you're getting money. I mean, you're getting you get to keep the gate, which is good. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's all well and good. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just, it's just
tough. It's an unfortunate circumstance
for everybody. Mm-hmm. For the 2 teams that have to travel to somewhere way off to play somebody else,
that would have been way closer. Yeah.
Like when Lawrence County and whoever played over in Fort Payne, it was like we could have done this a lot closer to home, folks.
Absolutely. Yeah, it happens.
This weekend is going to be really great, though, especially the 10-1A and 12-4A. 12-4A tomorrow is going to be a blast.
Yeah, because you've got girls and boys semifinals today, and then you've got consolations and championships tomorrow. And, you feel like you're probably going to get a third Columbia Central Independence boys matchup in that championship game tomorrow night. Central plays Summit in the 7 o'clock semifinal, followed by Ravenwood and Independence in the 8:30 semifinal game. And Central beat Summit twice. In fact, the only team they lost to was Ravenwood. And Independence, I think, beat Ravenwood twice. So, again, everything kind of points to that part 3 being tomorrow night in the championship. And then Columbia Central and Summit girls split during the regular season. They play here in about 35, 40 minutes. So that one should be fun as well.
Now let's go. Let's.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me mention this. Independence Ravenwood in the other semifinal. Didn't Independence girls? Did they beat Ravenwood? Who did they beat? They beat somebody, and it shocked everybody when they did. I don't remember who it was that Independence beat girls, but that's the 5:30 semifinal game.
They lost to Ravenwood 63-30 and 56-36.
So they did not beat Ravenwood. Okay. Who did they beat? Oh well,
they beat Summit at one point. But
maybe that's the one. Okay.
So let me try to go to the next round of this. So region, the top 4 teams of these district tournaments, once those are determined, 1, 2, 3, 4, there will be a region tournament, which is also at a neutral site for some. Like Summit is hosting the Region 6, which includes most of the Franklin, Brentwood, Overton.
It's District 12 4A. District 11 4A is the other district that makes up Region 6 4A. That district is, you said, Franklin, Centennial, Brentwood, Hillsborough, and Overton.
Correct. So both of these are 5-team districts.
Yeah.
So one
team gets eliminated.
Correct.
On each side.
And then you'll play at Summit to see who makes the sub-state round.
Or sectionals. Top 2 advance to sectionals.
Right. So, and then the one hosts the 2 and then they cross up in the sub-state with Region 5, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Which includes Beach, undefeated, Lebanon, who is one of Columbia's 3 losses on the year,
and one of Summit's 9 wins.
So, this is definitely one of the tougher roads to the glass house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any question that to get out of this one, you're going to feel really good once you get there.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that, because I think that makes it a lot of fun. I remember a couple of years ago when we went to that the region tournament over at John Overton, and Summit had a really good game against Hillsborough. That was just a phenomenal tournament. Those region tournaments.
You probably shouldn't remind Jim Fay of that.
That was bad.
Well, here's the deal. There were 3 guys that played in that ball game that still have high school basketball eligibility
and are not playing.
That are not at Summit or aren't playing at Summit.
Yep.
One of them's at Pope John Paul.
Yeah. But the region tournaments are a lot of fun. And if you went to those Williamson County, the old District 11 AAA, if you ever went to those tournaments, very similar. You're going to get a lot of the same teams. Going to be a lot of fun. So get ready.
Main Street Murray will have coverage tonight of Culleoka at Santa Fe, Wayne County at Richland, and District 12 4A. So if you're up late, hit the website or check it out in the morning when you get up, because we'll have that.
That's going to do it for today's show. It's going to be a lot of fun this weekend, Mo. Let's get in it. That's it for the week. Come back Monday, 2 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel here. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. This is the Lee Company studio. And for JP and Mo, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The weekend.
the weekend.